And then, Marianne, you mentioned in the, is it the annex?
Yeah.
You can see the metal bars in that?
Yeah.
Can you show us that, please? Yeah, this is cool. This is like walk down memory lane, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. This is history.
History.
Yeah, so this is our annex. It's been restored quite a bit, but it would be 4 separate bins in here.
4 separate bins. So what we just walked through here didn't exist. That was a solid wall.
Right.
Okay. So we were right here where we're standing would be full of grain.
Yeah, you couldn't walk in here. Actually.
Yeah.
And then this right here, this line here would be an auger that would feed back to the elevator.
Oh, this line down the center here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you imagine, it would have been slanted, like half hoppered, so that the grade would slope towards the auger more.
So hopper is the term used for a sloped floor or whatever.
Hoppered kind of thing.
Okay. So we're in the other half now, and
these are the iron bars that would come all the way down to the floor. And you'll see the notches, so that's how they would get. An elevator can shrink up to it can shrink up to 3 feet when it's full of grade.
so hang on a sec. So these tie rods tie the walls together to stop the building exploding outwards with the weight of the grain. These knots here.
Well, it's so that it can expand with the pressure of the grade. The walls would actually expand with the pressure of the grade.
So the whole walls will push outwards, and this is designed to allow it to happen.
Push it, yeah. So that's why it also shrinks, because it's bulging out so much, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I read as well outside that a lot of the elevators leaned towards the tracks because most of the grain was on that side.
Our next door neighbor, the Reliance did, because so if you fill up the grain and you leave all the front bins empty and all the back bins are full because you're going to take it out to the train,
Yeah.
it causes the elevator to start leaning.
To lean.
Because there's so much grain, so much weight.
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you were explaining, okay, now we have a fire exit here, but Marianne was also explaining to me, okay, there was no doors into this building.
Right.
But at the top, we have a small little porthole, a window, and that was used for what?
So when you'd get it to the bottom, this was half hoppered, so it wasn't completely that it would clean out by itself, right? So you'd have to get a skinny farm boy to come up a ladder on the outside and come through that window, and then he'd shimmy down here into here and clean up.
Clean
So
up.
it'd be a very dirty job, yeah.
Yeah, you were saying, talking to some of the hands that used to do this, they didn't like it.
No. Bad job.
Bad job. Okay.
Scott, over here is a picture of one of the old elevators that we're in right now. And then in this picture is the new elevators that are replacing it.
New style. So the old one coming down, and this is one of the reasons why we're here today. Because personally, I think the old style, there's a romanticism in this.
Absolutely.
You know. Now you look at this here, okay, this is the new one here, and I was reading this before, and it says, the original prairie grain elevator that held 30,000 bushels is gradually being replaced by huge concrete inland terminals such as this one. Each of these terminals can hold up to 50,000 tons of grain and can load a grain car 10 times faster than could the small prairie grain elevator. But you look at that and it's a monstrosity. Looks like something out of War of the Worlds. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I like the old style that we're in right now.
Old style. Marianne, what do you reckon?
They have more character for
Absolutely. More character. Okay. Is there any chance we can have a look at the station agent next door, the little engine in the house?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, before we go over there, we're just walking through, and there's an old photo on the wall here, and Marianne pointed out that, yes, you can see this one here, how it's leaning towards the second one. Now these, we're about to go over here, these are twinned elevators, and she said these are quite rare. And one of the reasons, you say one of the reasons they shut this down was because it was leaning?
Yeah.
So I guess it becomes a safety thing. I mean, ultimately the whole thing could go over.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm actually on the outside here looking at the Patterson Annex, and I've just noticed that it is ribbed. So remember on the inside you had all those metal rods going from wall to tie it together? Well, that's what these ribs are. These ribs are strong points. You can see how they're beefed up, and I'll zoom in. You see right next to the S there, just to the right, you can see where the bolt comes through, and it is actually, there's a nut on the end of it, and it is there's a large metal plate there to stop it pulling through. So all the way along these ribs are these tie bars that'll hold the walls together down to the one below. That's amazing.